Hello YouTube, Coach Nicole here. Over Christmas, one of my students sent us a very interesting video of a katana master fighting against or with Rapier and Buckler. Now, being someone who's accomplished a lot in Rapier and dagger, I found this a little curious. So we're going to have a look at Seki Sensei and see what they have to say about fighting with Rapier and Buckler. Now, they start their video off with an apology for their previous video, because apparently they did one with a small sword instead of a rapier, thinking it was a rapier. Now, I hate to tell you guys, but the sword that you have is still not a rapier. It looks like a kid's plastic saber with a cup hilt thrown on it. Now, if you are looking for a synthetic rapier, there are some out there. Black Fencer puts out, I think, different models. The big problem with not having a proper rapier is being able to put your finger through the guard properly. That's what gives you your tip control. And without it, it's still not a rapier. Now let's have a look at the video itself. They start this off with the katana master holding the rapier and the buckler. Now, he's not using the buckler at all. It's just supposed to be a rapier and buckler match, but the buckler isn't doing very much, planted on his hip there. And as for what he's doing with the sword, it's more poke and pray than actual rapier. He's not controlling his opponent's weapon at all. He's basically going around it and using the length of his weapon to let his opponent impale themselves. Eventually, the student and the master trade weapons, and the student has the sword and buckler, and the katana master has his sword. And it's simply more of the same. It's really obvious that the student has no idea what he's doing with the rapier, and they do say this. They do say in their video that they have no idea. So can it really be ineffective if you don't know what you're doing? By admitting that, how much value does this actually have? I'm going to take my weapon that I've been training with probably for decades and test it up against this other weapon that we have absolutely no idea how to use. It just kind of begs the question. And you can see that he doesn't really know what he's doing with a rapier. He's not even using the buckler, just like the first set of videos. It's planted on his hip, and it's not doing very much at all. He's using it like a fencing foil, except the motions are really big, and he keeps hitting the floor, which I'm not entirely sure is all about with that. They seem to think the idea is to get around the sword rather than control it and come forward with your thrust. I think eventually he does bring the buckler into play. Yeah, there it is. But still, got a lot to learn. Katana Master's attacks are a lot of beat attacks, and because the fellow with the rapier doesn't know how to disengage or doesn't know how to move the sword or can't properly move the sword because he can't grip that sword properly, yeah, he knocks it out of the way and just stabs and hits his student. One of the things that really got me going in this video is the fact they call it a fight. Katana Master fights with against Rapier and Buckler. They're not fighting. Only one of them has protective gear. It's student feeding his master the appropriate responses. This is not an unwilling opponent. But when you throw the word fight in there, to me, that kind of smokes a little of clickbait. So, just letting you guys know, not a fight. Don't call it a fight. That's not fair. So, yeah, not happy with the clickbait title. At the end of the video, he goes into his theories on how he feels he could defeat the rapier. Now, one of the biggest things that stands out to me is his idea that striking to the strong of the sword is going to disarm them. I hate to tell you this, but rapier is a game of leverage and angles. Hitting to the strong is exactly where I want you to be. That's where I'm going to take your sword tip offline, and I'm going to thrust you in the face for it. So that one, you've got completely backwards. He talks about using a maki, which to me looks very similar to a disengage. The person that he is sparring against has no idea how to do a proper disengage with a rapier, so of course his is going to be more effective. Yeah. But again, proper sword, you can use proper technique. His student didn't have a proper rapier, so there you go. He also says if you can move quickly forward, you can avoid the tip. That's assuming that your opponent is going to stand completely still and let you do that. Also, too, you forget rapiers can cut. If my opponent goes past my tip, I'm going to make sure that I throw a cut as I reset the range. He admits that a trained rapier fighter would probably be faster. Oh, hella yeah, much faster. He goes to describe a technique where if the rapier fencer was fully extended or if he was pulling back, then he would move forward quickly and avoid the tip. I know plenty of techniques with rapier if I'm fully extended or even if I'm pulling back, will still get you stabbed. At the end of their video, they asked for comments and suggestions on their rapier technique. Well, I made a video about it. Here you go, boys. If you ever want to test your skills against an actual rapier fighter, I'd be more than happy to accommodate. In fact, I got an entire stable full of fellas that would be more than happy to share their rapier skills with you. Philippines is not that far away. Just saying. We hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, please like and subscribe. As always, a big thank you to our Patreon viewers. We couldn't do this without you. And remember, train hard so you can fence easy.